Hey, hey, happy new year, everyone. I hope you guys are doing amazing. I'm just going to check my tech real quick, make sure we are good to go. All right, so it looks like we are good to go. Happy new year, happy 2025. I hope that you guys are ready for 2025 to go and you're ready to really dominate in the publishing space. And I'm just excited to have this conversation, around traditional publishing and those things. If you can see that traditional publishing is dead, the future is hybrid publishing, and I'm going to talk about that today. So happy New Year! Let me know in the comments where you are watching from. Let me know where you are, what state you are in, and all those good things. Let me know where you are. And if you're new to me, I'm Sharlrita Deloatch. I am the profitable publisher. I really love publishing. Like, I love the publishing industry. I really love how decentralized it is. That means that anyone can really come into this space and dominate by carving out a spot on the internet, or especially online is what I teach a lot of women to build online publishing businesses. And I just love the industry. Of course, there are some things that I do not like, but what I've learned in life, period, is not even about trying to change what you don't like, but really to really hone in on what you do like. So that's with anything, right? Honing in on what you really do like and not dwelling on what you don't like. So even on my YouTube channel, even with today talking about traditional publishing is dead, and I'm not coming from a standpoint of a person that does not like traditional publishing. I There are some things that I don't like, but I'm so thankful and so glad that we have options, right? So that's the great thing is about having options. And that's one of the things I was saying on today. I was in a amazing training led by my husband. He had it with his we have a mastermind group going on, and I was talking about that with self-publishing, how in publishing this industry allows you to be, so it allows you to really go in and carve out your own space and do your thing, and the possibilities is just so limitless. Like, it's just limitless possibilities in publishing, and I really really like that. I really enjoy that part of publishing. So let's get into today. I want to mention that this live stream is definitely great for you if you are an inspiring author, maybe you're a coach or entrepreneurs, and you're curious about the publishing option. So that's something that you are curious about, and I'm talking about that. So traditional publishing, it's not the only route. It's not the only route to get your work out there, to get your books out there. And of course, I'm going to share some problems that I see, in the traditional publishing landscape. Some benefits. We talk about some benefits of hybrid publishing, and really how hybrid publishing really does encourage and empower authors. Okay, so if you're not familiar with traditional publishing, or this is your first time hearing about it, traditional publishing used to be what we call the like the gold, like it was like the gold standard. It's like, if you are a traditionally published author, you are coined as a real author. Like, you go through a traditional publisher, you are quote unquote a real author. And many people do believe that it's the only way to gain credibility and to reach a broad audience. And I'm just here to dispel that myth. Traditional publishing is not the only way. It is not the gold standard. It does not matter if you traditionally publish, if you go through a hybrid publisher, if you are a self publisher, you are a real author. I'm not sure. I used to be. I used to be a part of a lot of like Facebook communities, especially around self-publishing and writing and those good things. And I decided to come out of those groups because even as an entrepreneur, you got to really get focused in. And as I carve out my way into publishing, especially when I talk about mini her books and starting your own publishing company, you know, being in those groups, you hear that a lot, that the traditional publisher, it's the traditional published author is the real author. If you self-publish your book, you're not considered a real author. And the first thing I always ask myself is, who said that? Who put out the memo that if you go through a traditional publisher that you are quote unquote a real author? I just wonder who said it. I always consider the source. Like, consider the source and where you get the information, right? And I think sometimes, especially in the publishing industry, people throw out things just to throw out things, just to scare people, just to make people feel bad. But listen, traditional publishing is not the only way. Okay. But here's the harsh reality. The harsh reality is that um, when it comes to traditional publishing, the barrier entry is very, very high. Traditional publishers and publishing, it is really, they really, really are very, very selective. They're highly selective on who they decide to choose. They reject more manuscripts than they do accept. They reject more than they accept. That's a harsh reality. Not everyone will even want to or will become a traditional published author. It's just what it is, okay? But again, we have choices. This is why it's great to have choices and why I love the publishing industry, right? So, timeline. Here's another harsh reality, is the timeline. Traditional publishing can take 1 to 2 years before they even publish your book, before it even goes from manuscript. Well, even when you are going out here wanting to get a traditional publisher, the manuscript part needs to be done, right? It needs to be decent in order for them to consider you, right? But you're gonna go from going from paper, actually putting it on paper, to publish, going with a traditional publisher, 1 to 2 years. And this is not here to make anyone feel bad. I know some traditional published authors, and so this is why having those relationships, I can gather information, I can talk to them about the process, and I can bring it to my community, because you got to be aware of this, especially those of you that are going into the hybrid publishing space where you're building your own publishing company, and those are like, this stuff you got to know, because this is the things that you got to educate your audience. So the timeline is 1 to 2 years. Creative control is another barrier or another harsh reality. Authors, you can lose control over your content. Now, some people are like, they don't care because they just want to get the money, and I'm going to talk about that too. They just want to get the money. They just want to get the check that they give you in the beginning. The what they call it advance is really an advanced that they give you. They advancing you money on the money that you got to make anyway. So it's not like free money. They're just letting you borrow money off of the money that you need to make anyway. So yeah. So people that are excited about getting the advance, okay, I get it. If anybody's going to hand me some money, I get it. I will be excited too, but it's not what you think, right? It's not that you're getting free money. It's never free money. Nothing in this life is ever free. There is a stipulation when it comes to that money, right? It's a stipulation when it comes to them giving you that check. And in exchange of that check, you will lose a lot of creative control over your content, like cover designing and marketing. The best thing I will say, and this is from conversations that I've had, this is from just observation in the publishing industry. Now, traditional publishing can get you, I believe, the some great marketing. I'm not going to say the best, but I will say that you can get some great marketing because those traditional publishers do have the bandwidth and they do have, I want to say, the connections to make sure that your book can get out into many different, avenues, especially like in bookstores and things like that. But even when I just said that, it's still like traditional publishing is set up where you got to prove yourself to other people. Like you have to prove in order for you to accept me. It's like you have to accept me from the very beginning. You have to be accepted. They have to say yes to you. And you have to then lean into what they want you to do. And you have to lean into their creative control. And they're saying, you know what? You give us creative control over your words. I'm gonna give you this check and I'm gonna make sure you get some nice marketing. And it's like, what's I'm trying to think. I'm trying to make sure I be good with my words. It's like prostitution, kind of like is when I think about it. It's kind of like prostitution. It's like you give me this, and I'm gonna give you that. Which I know is business, right? It's just overall business. You're exchanging, but when you think about it, it's like, okay, you want me to give you control over my words that I put together while you basically like prostituting me out. It means, you're gonna make sure that my words get out there in bookstores and all that stuff. But at the end of the day, I'm not gonna own 100% of my stuff. I'm not gonna own 100% of my words, of the things that I put together. I'm not gonna be able to own 100% of that. So to me, that's why it's really cringy. That's why I don't hate traditional publishing. I think it's a great thing, but I've never been traditionally published, nor do I ever want to. I That's not like something that I really want to do. And it's like, and I know it's a holy grail for some people, but for me, it's not, right? Another harsh reality you got to think about is the financial return as well. Yes, traditional publishing can get some upfront money, but what I said earlier, it's not like you're getting free money. It's not like they just saying, hey, let me give you this money. And you got to think about it too, just like the music industry, it's the same thing. They're giving you this money in hopes that you will sell X amount of books. So let's say that you are given a royalty check or a advance or upfront check in amount of $10,000. So they say, okay, we want your book, we want to accept your book, we're going to publish it, and of course they're going to market it to no end, because at the end of the day, it's a business. They got to make money. So they're essentially saying, hey, we're going to invest in you, right? We're going to give you this $10,000 and we're going to invest in you. Now, of course, there's some other stipulations that go along with that money. And per my research, it's a lot of stipulations that go with the money. So they give you this check and they say, hey, we're going to buy your book. We want to own 70% of your book, meaning you're only going to own, it's probably more than that, because most traditionally published authors, they only get royalties of 10 to 15%. I mean, so it's not for every book that you sell, $20. If you sell a $20 book, you may get $2 per book when you think about that, right? But that's an exchange of you getting this money. Okay. Now you don't get the whole royalty check up front. So if they giving you 10, this is per my research, and this is also per conversation, is that if you get a $10,000 check, they want to give you a $10,000 royalty, right? They are going to give you a third of it. So you get three, and three. All right. So you get a check. You get your first check. That's your advance. That's when you sign the contract. The second check comes out. I believe it's in between that time, after it's time for it to go to publishing. And don't quote me on that. That's not 100% right. This is just based on, what I'm thinking. All right. But I do know it's split up. You do not get a whole check. And then the last check, you will probably get that once after the book is published. Okay. So there is a entry, or there is a entry point when it comes to the check too. Okay. So you're getting this check and they're telling you, hey, let me give you this money and we're going to take 70, let's say 70% of all books there. So every time you sell a book, we're getting 70% and we'll give you 30, even though that's still high, right? That's still a high royalty for traditional publishers. That's basically what you're signing the dot for. And that check that they give you, it's just really them saying, hey, I'm going to give you a loan on the money that you need to make anyway. And every time that you sell books, it goes into that pot of that $10,000. So if you sell 1,000 books, that all that money, or the money that you made with selling those books, 70% goes to them, 30% goes to you, but you don't get your 30% until you have cleared your debt of that $10,000. So that's how traditional publishing works. I know a lot of people see it as that, I want to get paid for my work. I want to get paid. I was having this conversation on Facebook with a mutual, and she was saying the same thing. She was like, I want to get paid for writing books. I want to get paid for writing books. Now you can, like, in another way. You can, like, when you say it like that, you can in another way. But as far as the publishing, traditional publishing, I was talking to her about that, and she said that's what she wanted to do. I said, well, why won't you just self-publish and get paid? She was like, no, I need people to hand me a check. And I said to her, that there's a lot that comes with that. And you got to be selected to be able to do that. Okay. So financial return is another reality. Another one is you got to think about too, my question to you, even as a aspiring author or aspiring publisher, why would you invest years of your life in a process that limits your earning potential and control? Like, why would you do that? For the sake of saying that you are a traditionally published author? Because I'm an author. I'm a real author. I haven't been traditionally published, but I'm still a real author. So let's talk about why hybrid publishing is the future. Why is hybrid publishing the future? Because this publishing model, it combines with traditional publishing and self-publishing. Okay. So you do have choices. You want to write and publish your book, go ahead. If you want to do the traditionally published model, you can go ahead it, but you can self-publish. All right. You can do it yourself, or you can do it the best way, which is going with a hybrid publisher. That's a publisher that models traditional publishing as well as self-publishing. So it's like a model of them. It's like traditional publishing and self-publishing had a baby, and they had hybrid publishing. When you go with a hybrid publisher, you as an author, you retain a lot of creative control, while you can benefit from professional services. When I teach my clients, when they're building their hybrid publishing businesses and they're getting their clients and things like that, we set a standard, right? You also may hear the word, if you hear hybrid publishing, and you may hear, what's the other word? And I don't remember because I don't associate with it. Hybrid and vanity press. Okay. They are not the same. They are not the same. Okay. They are not the same. Okay. How can you spot out a vanity press? You can spot out a vanity press because, number one, a vanity publisher, they're going to publish any and everybody book. But the way I teach my clients, no, you just like we take some of the traditional, right? So as a hybrid publisher myself, I am very selective on who books I publish and what type of books I publish. So that's what I teach my clients. So if you are considering, or if someone presents to you that, hey, let me help you to publish your book, whatever, there are some things you got to look at. Okay. If they're publishing every type of book, or they're publishing not just every type of book, but if they're taking on anybody and everybody, that vanity press, because that's what they do. We don't do that over here. All right. We actually are very much self-select. We select who we're going to work with. Okay. Let me go here to this comment. In a way, traditional sounds like the literary version of 360 deal in music, and we all see how that turns out for so many artists. Exactly, it's the exact same. The music industry and the publishing industry are one and the same. The model is the same way. It's the same. It's the exact same way, and that's why you will see in the music industry, if you're much into that, a lot of artists you're going to find here lately, you're going to see this too in music. A lot of artists are going to become very much independent. Okay, so that means that's what self-publishing looks like. They're you're going to see, that's why you see so many musicians and artists and rap artists and things like that, that you will find that they use the word like independent, what's the word I'm looking for, um they would say, I'm independent, or I am an independent, or I have an independent label, yeah. So yeah, that you're gonna find that. So yeah, you're gonna find words like vanity press and hybrid publishing. Hybrid publishers are not the same. With hybrid publishers, you retain a lot of creative control while benefiting from professional services like editing, design, and distributing of your books. So that looks like a partner. It's much more of a partnership. And yes, it is done for you services. Like they're doing the editing for you, but it's not presented like, hey, I'm just going to hand you my book and then you just publish it. And as a hybrid publisher, you build relationships with your clients. You are in partnership with your clients. You're doing those things. Okay. And that's what I teach my clients is you, especially as hybrid publishers, you got to be able to do that. Now, here's some benefits. The benefits to getting a hybrid publisher, if you ready to publish your book, is that you as an author, you get to keep a higher royalty. Now, some hybrid publishers will keep no royalties. They're going to give you 100%. You will find that. You will find some hybrid publishers say you get 100%. But you may have some hybrid publishers that say you're going to get 50 to 70%. Okay. So they may give you 70% of every book you sell and they keep 30%. So just don't be alarmed. Okay. Don't be alarmed about that. Some hybrid publishers will give you 100%, and some hybrid publishers will give you a higher percentage, 50 to 70%. So that's how you know that they are a hybrid publisher. Okay. So just to make you aware of that. It doesn't make one better than the other one. It's just typically how that person runs their publishing business. Okay. It just depends on operation. So you're going to find both. Neither one is better than the other one. Okay. My company, we primarily did 100%, but we are structuring where it may be that we're going to keep a certain percentage. That's still on the table, but you will find both. You'll find both in the publishing industry. Okay. Now, another thing, a greater benefit to working with a hybrid publisher is flexibility. So you get a faster publishing timeline. So like traditional publishers take 1 to 2 years. I've seen some take 18 months. They take a minute. And even with the timeline, I can respect the timeline, because even in the timeline, as I watch some influencers and things that I've watched from afar write and publish their books with traditional publishers, yeah, they have deadlines. They have set deadlines, like you have to turn this in by this date, this in by this date. Now, with self-publishing, you get a lot more flexibility because you're doing it all yourself, so you create your own timeline, right? But with a hybrid publishing as well, that's a part two, which we incorporate with traditional publishing, meaning we do have timelines. I know I do in my company. We have timelines, we have deadlines, because we have a publishing calendar like traditional publishers do. They have publishing calendars when they're going to put certain books out, and so does my company. So that means if you're going to come to my company, and I had this done before where people will come to me and they felt like I was on their timeline. So I'm going to publish the book when they get ready. That's not how this works. Okay. So that's something else that you will be thankful for when you work with a hybrid publisher. Hey, Emma, when you work with a hybrid publisher, you're going to find that timelines is where it's at. You know, you need a timeline, you need deadlines, you need someone to hold you accountable to that space. So you're going to find more flexibility. Hybrid publishers do not take 1 to 2 years. You can find that hybrid publishers can take up to 6 months. Okay. And that's from beginning to end, depending on the services that you get. So if you are a hybrid publisher, maybe you have a publishing company, make sure that you have time, you have a timeline in your company. Okay. You got to make sure of that. But if you want to work with a hybrid publisher, please know that there's a timeline. Okay. Some publishers can get your books done in 90 days. Some publishers can get your books done in 4 months, 6 months. It just all depends. Okay. Another benefit with working with hybrid publisher is that the quality assurance. So you can find that you're going to find a lot of professionalism, you know, especially professional things with the editing, design, how they distribute those good things. So we have access as a hybrid publisher, and you do too, as a self-publisher. We have access to some of the things that traditional publishers do as well. Now, can they get some things a little bit more faster? Yes. So, like, one thing that's a myth is that authors think that they can't get their books into bookstores. You can, it just takes a longer process. It just takes a whole different process than it does if you were to go with a traditional publisher. Because, like I said, I am not no hater when it comes to traditional publishers, those in the big five, what is big four right now. So I'm not hating on that because their marketing is on point. Like they can press buttons and get you everywhere. The connections are outstanding. I'm not gonna lie about that. However, the gatekeeping here in 2025, you're going to start in the publishing industry, start to see that we, as the ones that are taking control, whether you are going with a hybrid publisher or you're self-publishing yourself, you're going to find a lot of those benefits that the traditional authors have, we're going to have as well. Okay. But it does take a little bit more steps for us, and we got to be okay with that for right now. Okay, that's just for right now. Okay, wow, I'm gonna pause for a minute. Any questions so far as I continue to go in on, you know, the traditional publishing, why I feel like it's dead, like it's a no-go? Hybrid publishing is the future. Hybrid publishing is the future. It's where it's at. And because we are building legacies, we are building, a lot of you are building businesses, and you are going to be publishing things. It's no greater feeling than to have your words inside of a book, have your name on a book. It's no greater feeling than that, right? But who really has control? It's the gatekeeping for me. You know, who really has control over that? Is it you? Are you going to let somebody else have control over that? Or are you going to have control over that? Okay. So I want to give you some encouragement that to share your story, like share your expertise, share those things, share your information inside of books so that you are leaving legacy. Okay. So that you are leaving with something. What they got that meme or that I don't know if y'all seen it on TikTok where Denzel Washington was saying, I'm leaving here with something. Y'all seen that? I'm leaving here with something. You have to say that about your own brand and your own business. I'm leaving here with something. Like, I'm not just here just to be here. But now I do want to address some concerns. There are some concerns that people have about hybrid publishing, and that's because there are a lot of vanity press or vanity publishers. Again, vanity publishers and hybrid publishers are not the same, nor should they operate the same. If I am your coach and I'm helping you with your publishing company, you are vastly going to stand out different from any vanity publisher. And first things first, we are, as a hybrid publisher, if you are taking on clients right now, you plan on taking on clients in 2025, you should not be accepting everybody. You got to stand out. Okay. You have to stand out, and you need to stand out in one or two ways. You got to get real niched in publishing as a hybrid publisher. You got to get real niched, meaning number one, you either need to really hone in on the type of book you are publishing. Okay. So if you're going to be the children's book publisher, be that. Don't try to publish everything. If you're going to be the journal publisher, do that. If you're going to be the publisher that publishes planners, do that. If you're going to be the publisher that publishes nonfiction books, fiction books, poetry books, all, whatever, whichever aligns with you, is the great thing about being a hybrid publisher. It starts with you. It does not start with what's popular, what everybody else thinks is popular. It starts with you. It starts with the type of book, number one, that you like to publish for yourself. It starts with you. So if you love publishing poetry books and you have done it for yourself and you're interested in doing it for other people, there's space for you. There are plenty of people, and I have encountered plenty of people that want to publish poetry books, and I turned them away because that's not my expertise. So as a hybrid publisher in 2025, if you're really going to be successful, you really need to hone in and niche in. This is not about you trying to be, we're not trying to be like those traditional publishers. We're not trying to be them. I want you to be you and you to do what you love so you can love your publishing business. All right. And it starts with you. So you can either hone in on the type of book, or number two, you can hone in on the type of person you want to work with. When I started in publishing, I worked with women speakers. That's it. Women speakers. Because I worked with women speakers, that means my messaging was catered to women speakers and why they should leverage writing and publishing, or why they should leverage writing and publishing books as a woman speaker. Now, if you're going to hone in on a type of book, that means absolutely you need to know what it takes to publish that type of book, right? Like a children's book, I can publish them, but I don't want to, and I never have. So I always sent them to somebody else. But if you're going to hone in on publishing children's books, you need to know through and through how to publish a children's book, a successful one, a professional one. Okay, you need to know that through and through. Now, but if you're going to hone in on a particular audience, that may look like you kind of dibbling into a couple of type of books. So like for women speakers can leverage, they can leverage journals in their speaking. They can leverage a book, authority book about their expertise. They can leverage a planner. They can leverage a workbook, especially. But I wouldn't try to, if you're going to hone in on a particular audience, try to, cater to all of those books. I would have maybe one or two books that you can help women speakers. So I don't help women speakers now, but if you want to start a hybrid publishing business, try that niche. Women speakers. Women are always going out to speak, and they want to leverage opportunities to speak, right? But either way, no matter how much or which way you decide to go with your hybrid publishing business, you definitely got to hone in on marketing. There needs to be some type of way that you intertwine marketing with the type of book that you publish or the person that you're publishing for. You got to intertwine marketing, because what I see across the board, and this does not matter if people are traditionally published, self-published, or going with a hybrid publisher, a lot of people struggle with marketing their books. And so as a hybrid publisher, you got to say, listen, you need to marry your expertise and your publishing expertise along with some type of marketing. That does not mean you need to know how to market a book in every different which way, because there's a lot of ways to market a book. Like you can market a book in every which way, every which way. Like my grandma say, every which way you can market your book. But if you really hone in on the type of marketing that you can help your clients to do, you will be successful in 2025. Okay, as a hybrid publisher. So I wanted to make sure that I said that. I know this video it's for authors, but it's for hybrid publishers too, because I wanted to make sure that I put that in there. You really want to be successful in 2025. It's not about you just saying I'm a publisher and you publish everything under the sun. That's not gonna work in 2025. The more niche you are, the more you're going to find your people, and your people are going to find you. Okay. So taking the example as a if you're going to serve women speakers, that means what type of marketing would a woman speaker benefit from that's really going to help her to sell more books? And that is speaking opportunities. So if you're going to work with women speakers, you need to help your client take their book that you're going to help them to publish, and you're going to say, okay, the way we're going to market is that I have a proven framework on how you can leverage your book to find speaking opportunities. Okay, that's how you're going to stand out as a hybrid publisher. Okay, now let's address some more concerns around hybrid publishing. Is that the cost? Okay, there is a cost. Okay, there's a cost to do business. There is a cost to hybrid publishing. There is a cost to self-publishing. I think a lot of people run to traditional publishing is because you don't have to pay anything upfront out of pocket with traditional publishers. However, 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 you will in the long run. You may not have to take anything out of pocket right now, but you will in the long run. So it does not matter which way you go, there's still an investment. Okay. But there's cost versus value. We're working with a hybrid publisher. Although there's an investment required for hybrid publishing services, you can make a decision based on return, ROI. Okay, there's many different ways that you can get a return on your investment. Now, let me park this and say this: the return on your investment is not totally up to the hybrid publisher. Let me make sure I make that clear. It's not the hybrid publisher's job to sell your books. You know whose job it is? You, as the author. I don't care which way you go. Even if you go to a traditional publisher, even though they market your book, remember they have a calendar, right? So they're only going to market your book for a certain period of time. After that, you as the author have to know how to move those books. If you're self-publishing, you still have to know how to move those books. If you're going with a hybrid publisher, you still got to know how to move those books. So even as an author, you got to put your entrepreneurship mindset on. It's still your responsibility to market your book. That's not in the hands of your publisher. That's not in the hands of anybody else. And there's a lot of people, especially I see it a lot on Facebook. There's a lot of people that are saying that they will market your book. Even them, they only doing so much. It's still in the responsibility of you as the author. Emma said that was her problem with her first book is marketing. It's for everybody. And I think because we don't grasp the idea that it's our responsibility. I'm an author as well. I'm writing a few books this year. You know whose responsibility is to sell those books? Me. No matter what, it's my responsibility to sell my books. So I just want to make sure I address that. So even when you are invested in a hybrid publisher, that yes, you got to look at ROI, return on investment. Several ways that you can get a return on your investment. Yes, you can get royalties, but the royalties don't specifically come from the publisher. The royalties come from the platforms in which your publisher will publish your books. like on Amazon. So if they decide to publish your book on Amazon, yes, you can get a royalty, but it's not you're getting it just to get it. It's depending on how many books you sell. At the end of the day, you still got to sell the books, right? Yes, you can get a lot of return on your investment with brand credibility. It's nothing like going out here networking. It's nothing like every single time I go somewhere and I have a conversation with someone or we are talking about it, doesn't matter. It when I tell people that I am a published author, it's like their light, it's like their eyes beam. It's like something shifts in their mind and they're like, you're what? Oh, you wrote books or you publish books? Because listen, writing and publishing a book is not an easy feat. Everybody's not doing it, honey. It seemed like it, but everybody's not doing it. So I want you to look at it as grand. I look at my books every time I put a book out. This is grand, honey, because nobody else is doing this. Okay. And nobody else is doing this like me. All right. So you have to have that same energy around your own books. You got to have that same energy around what you're doing about your books when you put them out. I told that to a client earlier. She's launching her book anthology with her author. She said, "Well, can you give my author some advice?" I said, their energy and how they market their book is what's going to sell. It's not just the book. It's not just the title of the book. Those things matter, yes. But what's selling is the energy. If you're not excited about your work, then other people will not be excited about your work. You can't expect people to be more excited than you. But you do get a big return on investment when you invest in a hybrid publisher. You also get lead generation. This past weekend, I was going through my email. And my last three books that I published in 2024, inside of my books, I always put a lead magnet, something where people would need to, if they want to get like a workbook or something to go along with the book, they need to give me their name and their email address to get this said lead magnet. And over the weekend, in my Gumroad account, I looked in my email and I saw it was like 5 people that like got on my email list. And that don't seem like a lot to some people, but that's a lot to me because that number one lets me know that you purchased my book. Number two, that you actually are reading and participating with the book. And number three, that you are interested in learning more or going to the next level with me, or you want to learn more. So that's how I measure that, right? So out of all of the people that purchased my book, I can't remember which book it was. I was like, this is fascinating to see that using what I use inside of my book, using a lead magnet, lets me know that people are interested in the book and they bought the book. It just gives me that's a return on the investment. I've already from those 3 books received as far as return on investment. I mean, money wise, yes, but I also received even greater, that's priceless, and that is more leads in my business. Okay, more leads of people I can nurture, more leads of people that know about me. And I need to look at I don't know if I can look and see where they purchase from. It's sometimes in Amazon, it'll let you know where people purchase from or the demographic. I think I'm gonna have to look to see, but they're probably not even in my city or in my state. They're somewhere else. So that's the power of publishing. So when you invest with a hybrid publisher, just know that it's not just a return on the investment with money. It's also the return on investment with other things like leads, higher royalties, and those that end, especially brand credibility. Like your business has a book. You can say that you are a published author. Okay. Here's one thing I look at as I wrap up with traditional publishers. I look at traditional publishing like a job. Think of it like a job. If any of you have jobs, when you have a job, you have limited earnings. That means you can only earn what hours they give you. You can only earn what per hour that they're paying you, or even if you're on salary. You can only get paid for what they give you, right? So there is a limited earning and loss of control. You have to do what they tell you to do in order for you to get that money. That's how I look at traditional publishing. It's like a job. You go with a traditional publisher, you have to, number one, you got to write this book like they tell you. You got to make sure that your cover is what they tell you. Okay. Now, granted, they have a lot more experience and professional, so they can I don't say that, I'm not saying they're not guiding you to where you want to be successful, but you don't have a lot of control, just like a job. You have to go to lunch when they tell you to go to lunch. You have to take the amount of time for lunch that they tell you to take amount of time for lunch. That's how I look at traditional publishing. It's more, you get less control. Now, with hybrid publishing, I look at that as equal to entrepreneurship. When you're going with a hybrid publisher, or even if you're self-publishing yourself, ownership, you get ownership of your work. You get creative freedom. All right. You get higher income. As an entrepreneur, we basically get to make our own paycheck. And that's based on the level, of work that we put in. Yes, you as an entrepreneur, you got to put in some work, right? You got to put in some type of work, right? In order to get the results. However, in entrepreneurship, we get a say so on what we do to produce those said results. There are some people that love to post on YouTube every day to get said results. There are people like me that love to go live on YouTube to get said results. There are people that like to just send 3-4 emails every day to get said results. There are people that like to just post on Facebook and get said results. Either way, there's still a lot more flexibility. You get to really hone in on your creativity when you are going with a hybrid publisher or you are self-publishing. Okay. So that's how I think of the two. That's why I don't want to go to a traditional publisher. Do I have the means to? Yes. Do I have the creativity to? Yes. I know a couple of literary agents that I can submit my work to. Do I want? No, because I don't want no job. I like entrepreneurship. I like having control. So that's why I personally go with self-publishing. And I make this available to my clients that don't want to self-publish, or they don't even want to learn self-publishing. So they send their books to me or send their books to my clients. Okay. So here's the future in publishing, especially going into 2025 and beyond. And I'm gonna do another video too, because there's a lot of trends that you're going to see in 2025. And this is me putting on a little bit of my prophetic hat and a little bit of what I am seeing in the publishing industry. There are a lot of trends you're going to see some things happen. And you're going to see in 2025, there's going to be a growth in self-publishing and hybrid publishing models. You're going to see a lot more people. Did y'all see Taylor Swift, that she self-published her own book? Now hers was I didn't get the book, but I just for research and what I've seen, it's more of a picture book. So I think what she did was she put a lot of pictures of different tours and things she was in. I might get it. I'm not really a fan of hers, and it's not bad. I'm just not a fan, right? But I'm not a hater. I'm just not a fan of hers. But even when I learned, hey Alicia, Happy New Year. Even when I learned that she self-published her own book, I was like, you see some shifts happening. All right. You see some major shifts happening. I will see more. We will see more and more, especially those that are the elite, the influencers, those that are celebrities. You're going to see them self-publishing their own books. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that they're sitting on a computer and actually doing it. What some of that means is that some of them are going to be tapping into hybrid publishers. They're going to be they're not, of course they got the financials to invest in that hybrid publishing business because they want to have more control, and they also want more creativity around their books. They want more experts around their books. It doesn't mean that the traditional publishers, they are experts at what they do, right? But here's what I'm seeing more of in publishing in 2025. You're going to see a lot more growth in that sphere of the musicians. You're going to see a lot of them self-publishing their own books, building, having their own publishing companies. You're going to see more of that. You're going to see more of that. And my suggestion, if I were you, is to find out where you will fit in. Like, find out which avenue, which path you want to take. All right. You will need to do that. I teach my clients in my Profitable Publishers Collective. I teach two different paths. I teach two paths to get into publishing. Either number one, you're gonna write and publish short books, or what I call them mini her books. They are books that I publish for myself, 50 pages or less. They are high impact books. So I'm not writing 100, 200 page books. Mine is pure strategy, pure value. Okay, my books are pure value. It's really getting you to the point. If my book is going to show you how to self-publish your book, that book is going to show you step by step how to self-publish. It's no fluff. Okay, so that's one path that I teach my clients. Or I teach my clients the second path: start and grow your own hybrid publishing business. Meaning, you are starting with yourself. You like, you know what? I love publishing my own journals. And then I got a lot of people that's asking me, can I publish their journals too, and how I can do that. That's the way that I teach my clients, so that you can make income from helping other people. All right. First, you got to help yourself, then you can help other people. Okay. So it's those two paths. I have both paths entwined in my business. I own a hybrid publishing business, BWE Publishing and Consultant. You can go there, bwepublishingconsultant.com. And I also write and publish my own short books, or mini her books is what I call them. Okay. So you're going to see a lot of growth in self-publishing and hybrid publishing. And how you're going to stand out is that you really got to hone in and get niched. Okay. Other futures you're going to see, other things, trends, you're going to see readers really want to buy directly from the authors. Okay. You're going to see a lot more readers wanting to really connect with the authors. So, what does this look like for you as an author? You got to have ways in which your audience, your readers, can connect with you. I'm seeing that more and more, especially in the realm of the women that I follow that write romance books, that write fiction books. You know, they write the different trilogies and things like that. I'm seeing more and more of those women are really honing in on where they are connecting with their readers on a different level. So it's no more hiding behind your books. Readers want to connect with you. Hey, Mrs. Squizit, that's what I call Mrs. Squizit. She's one of my students in the Profitable Publishers Collective. Excited. We have our mentorship call tomorrow. Excited to connect tomorrow. So yeah. So yeah, that's what we're going to see. You're also going to see the future of publishing is there's going to be a demand for niche, specialized content. Niche, specialized content. So it's no more like, for example, it's no more here's how you publish your book in 8 steps. How I'm standing out, that's why I created the word mini her book. Even though the premise is the same, yes, it's a short book, but this is my rendition. This is how I write and publish a mini her book. You're gonna see that a lot, especially for me. Mini her this, and then I had my husband today making fun of me. He was talking about he gonna write him a mini hymn book. I said, boy, whatever. But really, niche, specialized content. I I'm gonna send an email to my list. If you're on my list, I'm gonna send you this case study of this publisher that I ran upon. I don't know where I found them at, but it proved my point. There's a publisher that specializes in helping people who are ADHD publish books. Like on their website, they publish books for ADHD people. That's when I say niche. You either need a niche as a hybrid publisher, either the type of book you're publishing or the type of customer you want to publish for. I can only imagine, even on their website, they had the process in which they take their clients through when they publish their books as an ADHD author. Like they really have ADHD up there. Mm-hmm. So I know that they're going to be truly successful. And I can't remember the name of it, but I'm going to do a thorough case study for my email list because I need you to see this. And I love when God gives me confirmation that I'm not crazy. God be telling me, you're not crazy. You just need to put it out there so that people can grasp it and understand it. Because I know that there are a lot of publishers that publish all different type of books that do amazing jobs. So this is not, it's not you coming into publish trying to succumb to what everybody else is doing. It's about you carving out your area and you dominating. That mini her book, oh yes, that's me. I'm dominating and getting a trademark because that's my thing. That's my way of putting my stamp in the publishing industry. Yes, I can publish a journal. I was very successful last year in, creating journals and planners and all that good stuff, low content books, very successful at doing that. But even I had to let that go and say, you got to focus and hone in on this area because you got to carve out your area of expertise in the publishing industry. And you need to do the same. You need to do the same. Okay. You need to do the same. Any questions? I hope that I was able to, give some value that to let you know that traditional publishing is not the only path to success. It's not. Hybrid publishing is the future. Especially those of you that do not want to learn self-publishing. You like, you know what? I got better things to do. I got clients I need to coach. I'm building a business, but I do see the value in having my work published. So that's where a hybrid publisher comes in at. And you may be like, you know what? I published a few books, good experience. I really, really like this. I really, really like publishing. I think I can really, really go in this direction. And definitely the collective would be for you because then you can help other people. You can publish for other people. There's room in the publishing industry for you. There's room for you. And authors, you have more options more than ever. You have more options more than ever. So there's different ways, there's different paths. So again, if you are interested, you need coaching around this area. Of course, you're gonna need coaching. You need mentorship around this public. You like, Sharlrita, I'm interested. I need to know where to start. I really want to start my own publishing business. I got many people telling me that they want me to help them. but you got to have a systematic approach about how you're starting your publishing company. You got to have these things in place, right? These things have to be in place. Hey Emma, yeah, happy new year. You will, and drive safe too. So yeah, you got to have these things in place. And so the collective will be for you. Just join the sharlritadeloatch.com/collective. That's what I'm teaching women. When you put your name and your email address in, you're gonna get immediate access to this training that I did the other day. So good. I was like, people that started, let me give you the access to this training. I'm sharing with you in the training how you can make your first $10,000 in publishing, whether you go the path of writing and publishing your own mini her books, or whether you go the path of starting your own hybrid publishing business. Those are the two paths that I teach. Okay. Now I will say this, just a side note, inside of the collective, I do have some low content book like journals, planners. I do have a section for that, but I don't really go into that because that's not my area expertise that I dominate in. I know how to do it, but I want to make sure that I put that section in there, because there are women that are joining that either need some templates, need some journals, planners to sell, and all that good stuff. I make that available, so that is in there. But really, those are the two paths. I love this question. Hey, how you doing, Amika? Thank you so much for joining. Mini her book is my term of a short book. It is a 50-page or less book that you create that gets to the point. You are showing is more of the nonfiction. So that means you are teaching something. It's like taking a topic, like if you're an expert in creating courses, right? It's taking a topic, creating courses, and all of the things that you know how to teach, or the topics around creating courses. It's a book. You create a 50-page or less book. And the book, my mini her books, stem from me using my books to generate leads in my business. Of course, I'm going to sell them and all those good things, but it's really a lead magnet for my business. All right. That's the purpose of mine. The purpose for yours could be different. I'm not saying that's how it has to be, but that the purpose of me writing my mini her books are to bring leads in my business. All right. It's a lead generating thing for me. Okay. So I hope that explained it. It's a short book. And I just coined mini her book because it's a short book, and it gets to the point, and it's powerful. That is no fluff. Okay. Because I read some books, it's nothing but fluff. It's like, okay, you said this, but this is not giving what it's supposed to give. You're welcome, Mika. It's not giving what it's supposed to give. So yeah, that is high power, high powerful. It doesn't take long to write. My first mini her book I'm launching in January. I actually been promoting it on my Facebook page. So I've been promoting it on Facebook, and it's out for pre-order right now. It's out for pre-order right now. And my first book is the Hybrid Publishers Playbook. So even in that book, I'm showing you how to start your own publishing business. All right. In that book. So that's what I'm doing in that book. Yeah, Mika, I be laughing at myself sometimes, saying, girl. But yeah, this is where I can support you in the Profitable Publishers Collective. And I make it very much easy for you to get in. It's just a one time investment to get in, and that's it. You get access to weekly mentorship, or weekly Q&A, and you get access to loads of trainings and things. And I have everything in order, step by step, so that you don't feel like you're all over the place. It's step by step. You go step by step. All right. So whether you are writing and publishing your mini her book, or whether you are starting your publishing business, everything is step by step. Hey Sharon, happy New Year. So yeah, everything is step by step, step by step. So that's where I'm serving this year in 2025. That's where I'm spending a lot of my time in the collective, because I am on a mission to really help women to profit in publishing. I want to see more women in the hybrid publishing space. I really want to see us thrive. I want to see us publish these books, put our expertise out there so we can leave legacy, so we can put it out there. I like writing mini her books because I just take out the guesswork. And plus, I don't want to overwhelm my reader as well. I don't want my reader to feel overwhelmed, but I want them to feel they got enough where they want to go to the next step or they want to read the next book. So it is a science to it, to making sure they want to read the next book, make sure that they want to go to the next level. Okay. So I'm very, very strategic in how I'm doing this, and I'm excited. I'm very excited. Like I said, my first book is launching on January the 25th. It's out for pre-orders right now, and we're going to launch it on Amazon on the 25th, the ebook version. We're going to launch it on the 25th. So, yep, it does not take long for me to write these books, and I use content I already have. That's what helps me to do this faster. I use content I already have. So I already have the trainings. I already have the audios. I'm getting them transcribed and I'm just organizing it to where I put it in there. So I'm excited. I'm very excited. All right. So while I'm here, do we have any questions? Any questions at all? Any questions? Any questions? Absolutely love going live. Look forward to doing more live streams like this. To definitely want to pour into you. Even if you're not in the collective yet, even if you want to join the collective later, still go ahead and get on the email list. Okay. So we can stay in touch. That's how you'll be able to stay in touch with me. That's how even in my emails, I send an email every single day. I'm giving value every single day in your inbox. So even if you don't want to join the collective right now, you may want to later on. Yes, you can. Raquel said, what is the cost to join your collective? The cost is $5.99 one time. $5.99 one time. All right. So it's one time. You get access to all the trains. So it's not a monthly cost. You do have an option if you like to use like what is it, Klarna or Afterpay. You can use that. So I do have that set up if you want like to pay over time for the $5.99, but it's one time $5.99 and that's it. I wanted to do it at a great price, make it there, and then you don't have to worry about paying monthly. You get access to the most value, to be honest, is the mentorship calls every single week. Like, so that's where you can ask your questions, get my expert opinion. You can get access. You work with Raquel. I hope I said your name right, Raquel. Get access. That's where you can get it at. Okay. So yeah, I wanted to make it that's how I like the one-time payment things. And maybe it's just me. I like paying one time for something, be done. And that's what I want. I want it to be done. And you know, that's it. Just one and done. Okay. All right. I am excited. I hope to, again, if you want to join maybe later on, still go to sharlritadeloatch.com/collective, get on my email list so that I make sure that I stay top of mind for you and you can get that value, because I still send free trainings and things like that but only to my email list. So make sure you're on my list. Okay, make sure you're on my list, and then you'll get immediate access to that training, how you can make your first 10K in publishing. So I break that down, the two different paths, how you can do that. Okay, so you get immediate access to that. All right, friends. I hope you guys have a great one, and I look forward to continue to connect with you here in 2025. And I'm excited. I'm very excited about 2025. I think I'm most excited about, first of all, the collective, building this community of women in publishing. But I am also excited about all of the books that I'm publishing this year. Like, the focus is real. The focus is real. I was even going, because I'm like the type, I like to, whatever I can create, to make things happen, especially as a business owner. And today I was like, you know what? Because I had an Etsy shop. where I was putting all my low content books at. I closed that down today. I was like, you know what? You really have to get focused. Like you got to close that. You got to get really, really focused and really navigate, because there are a lot of women that I am designed to help in this landscape of publishing. And I want to be able to do that. And I need to do that in the most focused way as possible, right? The most niche and focused way as possible. And there are so many opportunities in publishing. Oh, another thing too that I got in the collective is how you can create your own book anthologies too. So if you are a person that wants to write a book with other authors, several ways that you could do that too to create income. I got that in there too. I got that in there too. Sharon, I'm excited about for you as well. I'm excited for myself, but I'm excited for you as well. Anybody that's watching, Mika, I'm excited for Raquel. I'm excited for Emma. I'm excited for all of my friends here, Miss Exquisite, Alicia, Miss Blue Sky. I'm excited for all of you guys here that are, really go in on whatever God positioned you to do, whatever He's telling you to do. This is the year you got to do it. You got to be more action and less talking. More action and less talking. Don't talk about what you're going to do. And it what Beyonce said in that audio. She said, don't talk about what you're going to do. Don't just think about what you're going to do. Be about it. Be about that action. That's exactly what she said in that video. Be about that action. So for me too, I practice what I preach. Okay. You know that about me. I'm only going to teach you what I have done and what I am doing. Okay. So when you come to the collective, this is not about, is about what I've done and what I am doing. All right. Now I do introduce you to some things that I see other people are doing, and I will say that, right? I'll say, hey, I'm seeing this person do this. You might want to try to open your eyes to something else. But hey, we got to be more about action, because even with me and you too, you got more people to help. You got people that God assigned to you. I know that God assigned me in this industry of publishing, because no matter how much I tried to let it go, I just couldn't let it go. I couldn't let it go. No matter how I used to be like, you know what? I'm just going to get me a job, and I'm just going to get a job. And I'll get right. God would send somebody to be like, you need to get your butt right back over there. You might have to rethink how you are positioning your publishing. You might need to rethink and how you are positioning yourself. So yeah, so you're gonna see, a lot more books from me. You're gonna see a lot of books from me. You're gonna see, of course, a lot of these YouTube videos from me, because I'm giving value. It's about giving value. All right. All right, ladies, y'all have a good one. And I cannot wait to see you guys in the next training, I call these trainings, the next live stream. And hopefully see you guys in the collective as well. Okay. Happy New Year to everyone. I'll see you soon.